guys, so we've been talking about getting rid of my 18 Silverado for quite some time now, and I think it's just about time we do it. Ready? Oh yeah, that's a little mo better. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel and thank you for tuning in. Behind me is a 2020 Chevy Silverado 1500 LT Trail Boss with the Z71 off-road package. This video is pretty much going to be like a first look, first drive type review, and I'm pretty much going to compare it to my 2018 LT because that is the closest thing I have in life to compare this truck to. So let's get into some details. Alright guys, so not gonna lie, I am pretty impressed with the 2020 Trail Boss. Obviously on this channel I do talk a lot of smack on the new body style Chevys just because their appearance and whatnot, but there are a lot of things that I do like about this that I like a lot better than my 18. But then on the same token, there are a lot of things that could still be improved on these trucks, and we're going to talk about that as well. But the first things first, I want to talk about the truck itself and the trim model. This thing here is a 2020 LT Trail Boss, which is actually, and surprisingly, one of the top trims that are offered in 2020. You go from a work truck to a custom Trail Boss, and then it goes into an LT, an RST, and then this guy here, the LT Trail Boss. Then you finally go up to a LTZ, and then a High Country, and that's pretty much it. So there is a pretty big price difference in all these trim models. So as soon as you bump up to the LT Custom, it's like $6,000 to $8,000 more than the previous trim model below, which is an RST and then like an LT. So you do pay a pretty penny to get the Trail Boss trim, but I must say this thing does look fantastic because the things that I don't like about the new body style Chevys is corrected when you go with the Trail Boss Edition, and that's the same thing that I'm going to say for the GMC 1500s. I think they're all ugly, but then once you bump up to like a AT4 model, an AT4 edition, it actually does look pretty good, and this is why. My biggest gripe about the 2020 Chevys is the front end, the controversial front ends. These things look like they got punched in the face by Chuck Norris. They're just like, they're like a bulldog. They have no front end. It's just a big smack front end, and on most of the trim models this entire front clip is chrome, which looks hideous. Now on my 18 I do have a chrome bumper and chrome grill and whatnot, but that is actually a really nice contrast. But on these trucks that aren't this one specifically, this entire front piece is chrome, and in my opinion it's just way too much in your face. And if you get like a work truck or the custom, this will be black just like this, but at least the Trail Boss model makes this gloss black instead of just like a flat, a super matte looking tacky black. So also the big reason why I do like the Trail Boss is because it actually sits a little higher like a truck. Trail Boss editions come with a 2-inch factory lift from GM, and all it does is sit on like some Rancho shocks, and this thing does have like the Z71 package, so it has the Ranchos, has the skid plates. And one thing I was pretty impressed with on the Trail Boss itself, this thing comes with a separate transmission cooler to help with towing, which is one of my biggest gripes about my 18 because the transmission gets so hot when I do heavy tow on that truck. So the Trail Boss actually gets like a separate transmission cooler, and that'll help with towing and off-road purposes if somebody did want to go off-road. And the other thing I'm very impressed with on this truck is the Trail Bosses and the LTZs and the High Countries. This is a 5.3 V8, but it comes with a 10-speed transmission, which is super smooth compared to what I'm used to on my 18 6-speed. Sticking with the front end real quick, another one of my big gripes about these trucks is the headlights. I do think they look way too foreign to me, way too skinny and Asian looking, if you will. Sorry if you're Asian, but I just don't like that. On a truck, I like the big boldness, but the Trail Boss actually does play it off pretty nice. Once again, I think because the black has something to do with it. When this is all chrome, that just looks way too cheap to me. This has those LED strip lights, which I do think look really, really nice on these guys. Lights just shut off on me, but in general, we do got fog lights on this guy. We do got the black dot bow tie, which is nice. Interestingly enough, this front bumper, you could actually see through it. It passes through, I'd assume because of fuel mileage. And one thing that I didn't notice before, which I do notice now, if you look closely into these headlights, you will see carbon fiber. They actually have carbon fiber, or at least it looks like carbon fiber, all through the headlights, which do look really nice and high class, if you ask me. Now, this truck is already tinted. We did a factory 20% in the front to match the rear, and then we did do a 5% brow along the windshield. Got ourselves a Ronin factory 50 cal bullet antenna, because even in 2020, these things still come with that big long dong of an antenna, and I don't know anyone in the world who uses FM radio anymore, so definitely get rid of that antenna right away. Nice thing about the Trail Boss, it comes with a nice set of all-terrain Goodyear Wranglers on an 18-inch wheel, and it's also nice because it's a black wheel straight from the factory, and you get like a pretty nice aggressive stance right off the bat with this. Now, I do notice while washing this truck, well, obviously there's like some kind of weird lip on the back now, but I actually don't mind it so much in person as I used to in photos. The body style itself, you see this bubbles out a lot more. My 18 does not have that big bubble. And these mirrors, for some reason, they did put the mirrors on the body panel itself instead of just putting them on the door where they always go on every vehicle in the entire world. But I don't know, now driving this thing for a little bit, it doesn't bother me as much as it used to. Coming around the side, got the same fuel door as mine does now. Pressure washing this thing to get it clean. This fuel door is weak and it kept trying to open, which mine on my 18 does not do that. But you can tell I use the same exact fuel door and everything as they do for the diesels, because here's where you put your gas, this is where you would put your def. Coming around back, one of the controversial things is the dual exhaust, looking like you could put some forklifts in there, pick the truck up and take it somewhere. It actually don't look too bad. With the Trail Boss, you do get these already black. This did not come. The Chevrolet along the bedside did not come. There was the indents, but we did get a vinyl from Amazon or eBay, I forget which, and let that in there. And then the truck actually did come with the Silverado in the LT chrome, so we did get that blacked out, which is nice. So black bumper, also factory on this guy. They did make the footsteps a hell of a lot bigger on this than there is on mine to fit a nice size 15 boot. And interestingly enough, these guys come with a auto tailgate. I mean, unnecessary, but also cool. No bed liner in this thing as of yet, but you will notice plenty of storage. You do get a lot more tie downs. You got tie down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You get 12 tie down hooks, which I think mine came with 1, 2. I only have 4 on my truck. And you do get some LED lighting, which is nice to light up your bed. I believe there might be some underneath, not too sure. And you get a plug back here, which is also pretty dang cool. And then it is also nice that they already have the B pillars wrapped on the truck, because we did that to my 18. I think it looks a lot better, showing like one big window, but that's already done here. So stepping on the inside, I don't like this. You hit that button, it locks the doors. You hit that, it unlocks it. Not a fan of that, don't know why they did it. But so open the doors, we got the interior of the 2020 Trail Boss, which it does surprise me. I hate a lot of this as well, but it is pretty nice. All right, first things first about this truck, it does feel a lot more roomy than my 18 does. This is push to start, which is a kind of cool feature. Really nice display up top. Steering wheel itself feels pretty good. This one specifically has a heated steering wheel, which is really nice. One gripe I do have about the steering wheel, maybe because I have an 18, this arrow here and this arrow here are not buttons. You cannot press them. So you do have a left and right to change your menu settings, but to go up and down, you have to scroll this, which, I don't know, maybe that's just me. But you already have a black bow tie on the steering wheel, which is super cool. Being a 2020, still kind of mad about this. You still have like the poor man's mirror, which is not automatic at all. Up this way, you do have LED lights and whatnot. You do have a button for the rear glass. Don't know why they took away this feature here on the mirrors. I have lights on my 18. This one does not have any kind of lights to look at yourself and do your makeup while you're driving. The screen, I'm pretty sure is the same exact size as my 18. Now, obviously we all know Ram has a big ass screen that does pretty much everything, I guess. This screen is the same size as mine, if not, yeah, it is. But it is a very nice touch display. Like, it's very responsive and whatnot. One thing I do like about that, the backup camera is phenomenal. It's a really nice wide angle backup camera, and you could change it to do a couple different things. If you're lining up a trailer by yourself, you could hit this button and get really close to your trailer hitch to see if you're lined up or not. These grab handles are a hell of a lot sturdier than they are on my 18, so I definitely like that. You get a way more usable blind spot mirror than my 18s is like the size of a quarter, so the blind spot mirror is kind of nice on that. I'll move over here because we do have a bunch of selectors, so normal stuff, auto, 4 high, 4 low, 2-wheel drive. Same gripe about GM as I've always had. There's no setting to keep your fog lights on. Every time you get in your truck, you have to manually push that button to get your fog lights to come on and off, but it is what it is. They got rid of the parking brake pedal, so now you just have a button to turn your parking brake on and off. Nothing fancy on the door panel here, except for, I'm gonna open the door, get some more light. I do like the fake wood grain. I personally am a fan of the wood grain. My Chevy right now just has like a stainless look type deal. I do like wood grain on vehicles. I think it adds a nice touch to the interiors. That's just my personal thing. You do get the Bose sound system in here, which does sound really good. And same thing with my 18, you have auto down every window, but the only window that is auto up, not even that one, the only window that is auto up is the driver's side. I am happy that GM has stuck into a normal gear shifter instead of having like the Rams, how it's just like a little knob here. This is pretty nice, and you still have like the manual gear selector if you so choose to. On the display itself, let me zoom in real quick. It does tell you like what you're always in, if you're in 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, whatnot. And the cool thing about this is it actually has driving mode. So over here where you do like tow haul, if you spin that to the left, you see it'll pop up a trailer for tow haul mode. But if you pop it to the right, you have normal driving mode, sport, and off-road. So all that's going to do is adjust like how your throttle is. So normal is going to be pretty normal, obviously. Sport, which I've been driving in, it does make it feel a lot sportier. You got a lot more get up and go. And then off-road's probably going to make your pedals so that way when you're smashing it, it's not like jumping or lurching. It's going to be probably, I mean, I haven't tried it yet, but I'm sure it's probably really conservative for off-road usage. And you do have information where you could kind of scroll through this and actually see some stuff. Oil life like normal, tire pressure, air filter, that's new that my 18 don't have. Brake pad life, that's new, my 18 doesn't have. Fuel economy is the same, off-road menu, and one thing you'll notice if you come this way, the dynamic fuel management and stuff. So every time you start the truck, you do have to shut that off if you want to shut it off, because if you keep it on, this is like one of those eco trucks where every time you come to a stop, it'll shut the truck off, or do it temporarily and then turn it back on when you hit the gas. So you got the heated seat options down here. Normal plug you got there, normal 12 volt you have there. Some places to plug stuff in. You have a factory trailer brake control right there. Hill descent control, that's that auto stop, auto off thing. The tailgate, and then your flashers, which is pretty normal. Everything else here is pretty standard, I think. I will say you got a lot more soft touch things. So like this is still all like leather, and then you finally get into plastic up here, but they boxed everything off a lot more, kind of like how Ford did their interior. This truck factory, like I said, Z71, so you do have the Z71 floor mats in there. You do get the auto controls on the driver's side. I didn't check the passenger side yet. Okay, just like my 18, so this is all manual on the passenger side, which is kind of lame, whatever. You do get a bunch of storage. Now, compared to my 18, I don't have like a full console, I just have like the half. So this is a lot more storage than I'm used to. You can pick this up. This is actually lit inside there, which is really nice. That's pretty deep. You got a bunch of plug-ins there as well. Cup holders here, which fit very large drinks. Cup holders right there. You get the storage on both sides here, and then you get your normal dual glove box, and then also you get the storage all the way up top here, which my 18 definitely doesn't have. It's just a standard dash. Back seat, this thing does have a very large back seat. Now I am a 6'7" guy, And I do fit here fairly comfortably. Now the front seat is all the way back because I'm driving, and I still actually fit in the back seat with, you know, a little bit of room to spare. LED lights on the interior, which is nice. These seats also fold up and you got some underbed storage there, which this is nice because I have to buy a storage if I want it for my 18. This already comes with like a storage bin so you can store stuff and not have it roll around your floor. And then you do get the cup holders on the inside. Small gripe, I know I'm bouncing around, but there's a lot of stuff to go over. They still don't put LED lights on the trucks from the factory, so what's up with that? Still got old halogen lights here for your license plate and whatnot. I'd change that personally, I would. And then the seats themselves, so these do look a lot different than my 18s, and they do feel very comfortable as well. I will say the heated seat feature, unless it's in my head, these don't feel like they get as hot as my 18 does. So maybe people are burning themselves and sued GM, I don't know. But either way, let's go for a drive. Oh, and I forgot. They actually gave you enough room to put like a full-size iPhone on like the center console itself. My 18, the phone's too big. It sits like this in my center console. So this is actually really nice. They finally gave you enough room. Let's drive. First thing I notice, honestly, is throttle response. Now, like I said, I am driving this thing in sport mode, so it is a lot more sporty feeling, if you will, than just like if I had it in normal or had my 18, because that's one of the biggest gripes I have about the 18s, well, you know, that body style, that generation, I guess, is the fact that it's so sluggish when you get on the gas and whatnot. It takes, I don't know, it feels like you're driving like a Wrangler. This thing, on the other hand, it is a very sporty feeling truck. The cab itself, it's really quiet. Now we do have some all-terrain, you know, whatever, 75, 85, 18s. We do have some pretty aggressive tires, but they are factory on the truck, so you really can't hear them. The cab itself is nice and quiet. Suspension-wise, like I said, this thing is on a 2-inch factory lift from GM with Rancho shocks and whatnot. Now, Rancho is nothing to really be happy about in general, but it does have a very nice ride quality. This does absolutely ride a lot better than my 18 does. And in general, shifting, that I had so many videos on my 18 about the active fuel management and how poorly it shifted and how jerky it was. I don't know if it's this thing with a 10-speed transmission or what, but this thing does shift very, very smooth, and you really can't feel it, and it does not have that jerkiness coming in and out of dynamic fuel management mode, whatever. So on the 18s, the AFM, it dropped 4 cylinders. You'd either be in V4 or V8. I believe, if I'm correct with this dynamic fuel management, it'll drop up to 7 cylinders when they're not needed, but you really can't feel when they're dropping in and out. I cannot tell, so that part is cool. Like I said, driving wise, I have plenty of room. Being 6'7", I feel comfortable. The seat's all the way back. I have headroom. I got probably, I don't know, 4, maybe 5 inches of headroom still. I feel pretty good driving the truck. It's it feels a lot more solid than mine does. I don't know if mine's just beat after 35,000 miles or what, but this does feel a lot more better than mine does. This thing will get up and get spooking. It's smooth. It's really smooth. It's smooth like Keith Stone. Alright guys, so quick takeaway, 2020 LT Trail Boss. I love the heated steering wheel, number one. I like the 10-speed trans, it's very, very smooth. I like the sport mode, like that part's nice. I like the extra tie downs in the bed. The room in general, it does feel like a much more comfortable truck than my 18. I like that this thing comes with a 2-inch factory lift. It gives it a better feeling of being like an actual truck because trucks are so small nowadays. Dislikes, I dislike that you're still spending 50 G's and getting like the poor man's rearview mirror. You're not getting LED lights all around, which is still kind of ridiculous. And I don't like the dynamic fuel management system, which shuts your truck off at stop signs and red lights. So overall, really nice truck. I like it a lot. I do now have to go return it to its rightful owner. That's right, if you have made it this far. That's not my truck. I still have my 18, good buddy of mine bought this a couple months ago, and I've been meaning to do a video for it and on it for a while, just haven't gotten the chance to. So finally got the keys to this guy. Oh, speaking of keys, so I do like the push button start. That is kind of cool in 2020, even on a truck. I don't care. That's all. A quick review, quick take, quick comparison to my 18. I still have my 18, and I'm still heart set on getting a 2500 diesel for the next truck, for the next build. Once again, I know I don't need a 3/4 ton diesel, which is something I want. So been driving over 10 years, almost 15 years at this point. Never owned one, always wanted to. So it's just something I want to do, so I'm gonna do it. So all that being said, give the video a big like if you haven't already, subscribe, join the family, join the truck reviews, and stay tuned for the new build, and I'll see y'all guys next week. Peace. Quick thing I forgot to mention, this color, dude, do I hate red. Typically I would never buy a red truck, and I wouldn't buy a red Chevy, especially if they come like how they typically come with all that chrome up front. But to be honest, the Trail Boss and having everything else black, this red looks really good. It looks really sharp. So I'm a big fan of like the deep maroon reds. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I have a thing for the super deep reds, but a sport red is not my thing. But the Trail Boss pulls it off with like black mirrors, black wheels, black front end, black back end. I think it does really well. So all right guys, peace.